Hi, it's Gab back again for my third movie this weekend of August 14th. First it was Spread, then it was District 9, and so now it's The Time Traveler's Wife. Speaking of spread, quite a spread of genre and quality this weekend, but it was Time Traveler's Wife for me last night, and this film is based on a very beloved book, big with book clubs and probably with Oprah and whatnot. I have not read the book, so I cannot compare this film in the context of the book. I can only talk about it as a film. And as a film, it was okay. The story was quite interesting. It's about a man who, for some genetic anomaly reason, spontaneously time travels. He can't control it, although he does seem to be able to control, to a certain extent, where and when he goes, because he can go back and see his parents or himself even when he was a child, and the most of the story is him visiting the girl who becomes his wife in the future as a child, and going back and forth between his relationship with this woman as an adult and his relationship with her as a child. And so it's all very intercut, and with a lot of time travel stories it can seem a bit confusing or inconsistent if you analyze it too much. The logic always breaks down at some point, and I think it probably does here too, but I just try to let that slide and enjoy the other elements of the story, which is basically a romance about him and his wife, although the time traveling is, of course, is a metaphor, as most science fiction is, applying more universal real themes via science fiction context. So here, I mean, to me, there's the obvious metaphor of within a marriage of absenteeism, emotional absenteeism, of compromising, and of being in love with different versions of your partner, or different images, ideals of your partner at different times, not always the one that's in the present, this sort of thing, which is kind of interesting fodder for a romance, but nothing spectacular. And as for the sci-fi element, not very well demonstrated. His condition is never really explained. It could be explored more. Interestingly, at one point he gets involved with a geneticist who's supposed to sort of help him, but this is never really explored in more of a scientific way. So for anyone looking for true sci-fi content, wouldn't recommend it. It's definitely more of an emotional relationship story, as I said, supposed to be a romance, but for me, the central romantic relationship wasn't that interesting. I mean, it's called The Time Traveler's Wife, but it isn't really about her. I don't feel we really get to know her or her experience of the situation very well, her being Rachel McAdams, who is lovely, but nothing particularly special. Him, by the way, being Eric Bana, who is definitely something special to look at. Am I right, ladies? But although I found their chemistry a bit strange, for one thing, the actors have 10 years age difference, which I think affected the chemistry, besides the fact that he's jumping around in time, so he's supposed to be different ages at different times, but this, to me, hurt the chemistry. I mean, two beautiful people can pull off romance visually and in a film, but beyond that I didn't feel this intense connection that these characters are supposed to have. And when he visits her as a little girl, it's borderline a little bit creepy, but I won't go into that. So the romantic story was a bit flat for me. What I found more interesting were the elements where he visits his mother when she's younger. The Eric Bana character goes back to his youth and interacts with his mother as an adult. He goes to the future, this might be a spoiler, and interacts with his daughter, whom hasn't yet been born, in present day, but then he goes to the future and interacts, the Eric Bana character interacts with his daughter. So for me, maybe as a parent, I found these elements a lot more interesting, because we can all relate to, what if we could see a parent in the past, in the future, our child in the future, this sort of thing. To me, it was a lot more emotionally rich. And there were moments where I was, I have to admit, a little bit teary. I mean, I am a sucker for those Hollywood conventions, and this movie definitely has those manipulations in it. And I fell for them a little bit. When the lights went up, a lot of women were sniffling. A lot of men sort of had a what the hell look on their face. That's sort of how my husband reacted. I believe his direct quote was, "I don't get it." So, you know, take it as you will. A nice date night movie, nothing more. I'd say a rental. You know, take it or leave it for what you will, but don't travel forward or backwards in time for this one. Thanks for watching.